All right, so let's get started. I want to,
You keep going in and out.
Free
so
accounts are
I'm just
limited
gonna
at time.
as best I can.
okay, Beryl, did you put it in speaker view as opposed to gallery view? You can
I'm gonna do that because I'm having glitchy connection also.
Okay, so that might help. I'm also planning on sharing my screen this class, although not right this minute, but that should not be an issue in speaker view either. So anyway, okay. Any questions from last week, the homework or any of the videos? Okay, good.
I was grateful for that YouTube for the YouTube
Me
review because I really needed it this week.
Good. I'm glad. Okay.
This one was a challenge.
Well, you know, so which YouTube are you referring to? Or are you referring to just the Zoom recordings?
Oh, it was actually the young lady that did this, that was singing for the
Good. Okay. Yeah, I think she's really good. I like her speed and her pronunciation.
I used that one a lot.
Good. Good. Okay. So that was doing Kiddush, I think. Was that during Kiddush?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's that last one on page 45.
Right, exactly, precisely. That was Kiddush. So, yeah, I thought she was wonderful. Okay. All right. So we are going to start on page 43 and learn a new letter. So we all know the letter in the top box at the top of page 43, that's a shin. That's the one we learned a long time ago where it has the dot on the right. And the little phrase I've always said is, she is always right. And the dot tells you that the sound of this letter is the SH when the dot is on the right. The companion letter is when the dot moves over to the left. And the letter now sounds like an S, as in Yisrael, as opposed to the SH that we had in Shema, Shabbat, and Shalom. So now when the dot moves to the left, it sounds like an S. And I don't know if we have any mnemonic to help us with that. Oh, here, the mnemonic that they suggest is it's no sin to be a lefty. Well, I happen to be a lefty. Many great people, Leonardo da Vinci was a lefty. Anyway, so it's no sin to be a lefty. The dot is on the left. I don't think you're gonna have trouble picking up this letter. It's very straightforward in my opinion. So as you can see, line 2 has the example where the letter is the sin, the S sound in the word Yisrael. And that's the only word they give us all across line 2. But when we get to line 3, they combine it. So the first word is Shema, and then the second word is Yisrael. And then it goes on, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Okay. And then in the fourth line, it goes, they bring us to the sin again. So Am Yisrael Chai. So what I want to do, I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you something. This came up last week and maybe even a few weeks prior to that, that when printing the word Adonai in our text or in a prayer book, there are 3 different ways that they represent Adonai, and none of them spell out the word Adonai, right? They all have some abbreviation. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can talk about that. Okay. Can you guys see the page I have up? Various ways to spell or indicate Adonai?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
excellent. So the way this book has been doing it,
Yes.
okay, the way this book has been doing it from in the early pages is this first one I have on this first line right here, the hey with a yud following it. I think that abbreviation is actually rather uncommon. It happens to be in this book, but it's not what you're going to see in most prayer books. Okay, the second one, the double yud, one with a shva, the two dots, and one with the the little t. That's a very common abbreviation for the word Adonai. And the third one, the yud hey vav hey, is what I see in the prayer book that we use, the Siddur Sim Shalom, I believe, and most prayer books I'm used to have the Yud Hey Vav Hey, which is what I have here on this last one. And honestly, this book, I believe, is going to end up using all three of these by the time we finish the book. So I'm going to have this in the homework page for you, but I wanted to spend just, a couple minutes here pointing it out to you so that, because if we look on page 43 on line 3, here he uses the first abbreviation, the Hey Yud, twice in line 3, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. So that's his way, but I do believe recently he did, okay, so for the blessing for the wine, he also used the Hey Yud. Oh, so he's been using Hey Yud pretty consistently.
But on page
No.
45, if you look,
That's-
On 45,
Thank
the
you,
last
exactly.
line.
Right, in page 45 in Kiddush, you've got the double yud, exactly, okay? So that's why I wanted to point this out, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it a little bit last week. And I think I looked ahead to see, and maybe it's the Shema that it's gonna come up Yud Hey Vav Hey. So anyway, I wanted to alert you all to that, okay? I am going to stop sharing, stop share. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to do is answer a question that came up last week. So here in line 3 on page 43, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. In the word Eloheinu, you see the Aleph, the first letter, has 2 vowels below it. It has the 2 dots, one on top of the other, called the Shava, and then it has the 3 dots in the upside down triangle, or whatever direction of triangle we call that. Anyway, and one of you, I thought it may have been Linda, is my memory, but I asked, why does it have both vowels under it? The answer is that the shva in front of that vowel shortens the vowel. Now, honestly, I have only ever pronounced this Eloheinu, and I don't know how I would pronounce it differently if it just had the 3 dots and not the shva. But the grammatical answer is that the shva before the other vowel shortens the vowel. So there we have it. I don't think it's going to impact us because we're not grammarians. We're just readers and average speakers, and we'll do our best, and I think we'll do fine. Okay, so let's go to the latter part of page 43. And let's practice the shin versus the sin on the lines down here, 5 through 13. So if we look above line 5, the line that has no number on it, you see the word under the shin on the right-hand side, kidesh. I'm not sure that that's exactly a word, but given the way it's spelled, it would be pronounced Kidesh. And then to the left, Asa, exactly, Asa, whoever said that, that is exactly what it is. So let's do line 5. I'll read. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Well, no, I did ask. No, we didn't start by reviewing and reading aloud together, but I asked if everyone was good with what the homework was and had been practicing. So I'm assuming everyone's comfortable and confident with the previous prayers. At any rate, so okay. So here we go with line 5. I'm just going to read it to you, okay? Just listen. Kadosh, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Now, so clearly they want us to read down and then go up and come down again. So that's what we're going to do, okay? So line 5. These are all, okay, and so all these on the right-hand side, these are all going to be shin, okay? So I'll read one word, you guys repeat, and we'll go across line 5. Kadosh,
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 HaKadosh,
HaKadosh,
Baruch
Baruch
Hu.
Hu.
Okay, line 6. This one's pretty simple. I'll read, you repeat. Shabbat,
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 Kodesh.
Kodesh,
Kodesh.
Good. Okay, line 7. I'm going to read 2 words together. You repeat, and I'll read 2 more words. You repeat. Shabbat, Kadsho,
Shabbat,
Shabbat, Kadshecha,
Shabbat,
Kadshecha.
Shika.
Now let's break these down for a minute. All right, line 7, we're going to break it down. Everyone recognizes Shabbat, I assume, and is comfortable saying Shabbat, but it's the next word, the K sounding word, that is a little, it could be confusing. So the first one, the one on the right-hand side, Kadsho. So this one sounds in 2 syllables, Kadsho. And I think that's pretty straightforward, yes? Okay, but then when we get to the second one, the last word in line 7, so this one, you've got the Shva under the Daled, right? The D sound with no vowel under it. Then you've got the Shin sound, the one with the SH sound with again, Shva under it, 2 dots under it. And then you have the final Cha sound at the end. So if you sound it out slowly, Ka-de-sh-cha, right? Essentially, that's what we've got there. Ka-de-sh-cha. But then when you put it together and actually say it, Kadshecha, Kadshecha. It's really how when I say it fluently, I say Kadshecha. So I'm not really stopping quite so much, and maybe I'm mispronouncing it, but Shabbat Kadshecha, Kadshecha. That's how I say it, honestly. But for purposes of sounding it out, it is Kadshecha. Okay. Okay. Line 8. I'm going to read the 2 words together. Mikra A Kodesh. So now let's do it one at a time. So the first word, Mikra A.
Kodesh.
Yes, that sounded good. And the second word, Kodesh.
Kodesh.
Now, I don't know if your printed copy of this book is better than mine, but I have to be honest that this particular page is not printed very clearly. It has some extraneous marks on it of ink and things. So this word here that we're reading, Kodesh, so there's a dot above the kuf. Do you see that dot? Mine is really like it's blurred into the letter itself, but there should be a separate dot up there. That's that O vowel, okay? It's the vav with the dot above it, but they left the vav out and just put the dot above. So that's ko, and then you have desh. Okay, does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that word is kodesh. Line 9, I'm going to read it for you. Just listen. Mekadesh hashabat vayikadesh oto. Again, mine is very blurry there, but that's okay. I'm going to read it one more time.
I'm sorry,
Mekadesh-
excuse me. I got distracted by an important phone call. Can you please tell me what line you're on?
We're on line 9.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to read it. Just listen. Mekadesh hashabat vayikadesh oto. All right, so now how about I do a word and you repeat? I'll start. Mekadesh
Mekadesh.
Kadesh.
hashabat
Ashabat.
vayikadesh
Kadesh.
oto.
Oto.
Okay, so the slightly tricky part is the third word, vayikadesh. You see it?
Kadesh.
Yeah,
Vaya Kadesh.
very good. That's it. Vayikadesh oto. Okay, everybody good with those? All right. So now line 10. Now, so it's interesting here. If we compare the first word in line 8 to the first word in line 9 to the first word in line 10. Okay, these are all the same root word, kore, actually, but it gets changed a little bit. So in line 8, the first word is mikra'e. In line 9, which we just read, mikadesh. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm confusing. Forget what I just said. Because line 8 is really the other word. I apologize. I confused myself because of the kodesh that followed it. So never mind. Ignore what I just said. Let's just look at line 9 and line 10 together. Mikadesh in line 9, but in line 10, mikadsheh. So what they've done here is they've moved the vowel from no longer under the dalet, the third letter, to now it's under the shin, and it has a yud following it. So what they're doing is they're making the word plural, but that's neither here nor there. For you guys, it's the pronunciation that we're working. So mukadsheh. Exactly. And the next word in line 10 is shemecha.
Jamaica.
Kadeshe shemecha.
Kadesh. Jamaica.
Okay. Now, line 11, another version of the same root word, kodesh, but it's kadshenu. Kadshenu. Mhm. And the next word is that tricky word we learned like 2 lessons ago, mitzvotecha. Oh, I mispronounced it. I forgot the B. It's b'mitzvotecha. B'mitzvotecha, exactly. I left out the bet. So it's kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha. Very good. You guys sound great. Okay, and now line 12, a different version of the word for grammatical reasons. Kid shanu. B'mitzvotav. Right. So I'm right, aren't I, that the line 11 and line 12, the b'mitzvotecha and b'mitzvotav. We've done those words before. We did those like 2 lessons ago. Yeah, okay. And then the line 13, kiddush,
Kiddush.
all right? So now we're on to the sin. All of these, I assume, well, no, not all of them. Now they're going to start combining some shin, some sin, okay? So we're looking for when the dot moves to the left, and now we pronounce it as an S. So the word in the top above line 14 is asa, okay?
What
Okay.
did you say?
Okay, so now in line 14, this is the end of a sentence from the prayer book, Lema'aseh v'reishit.
Lama,
Reishit. All right, let me do one word at a time, okay? I'm sorry if I went fast. The first one is Lema'aseh. And the next is v'reishit. Okay, so let me draw your attention to in Lema'aseh, the third letter, the ayin, has that double vowel under it. It has the 2 dots, the shava, and then the line across, the okay?
Rachel,
And-
is that Lama'aseh or Lama'aseh?
Lema'as. Oh, you're right. It is Lema'aseh. I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. right. It has 2 dots under it. So that's A, Lema'aseh. But what I was pointing out, under the ayin, the third letter, that double consonant, so the shava with the that it makes it a shorter one. I also think for pronunciation purposes, it also means that the emphasis is not on that that vowel or that syllable, right? It's not Lema'aseh, it's Lema'aseh, okay? And that's, to me, that's what that double indication tells me, okay? So let's look at 15. I'll read each word separately, and let me read them first. I'll read all of them, okay? Then I'll read one at a time, and you guys repeat the one at a time. So I'll read 15 completely. Okay, guys, I'm hearing someone talk. It's a little distracting. So it's Malachto Asher Asa. So I'll do one. Malachto Asher Asa. Good. Okay, 16. I'll read the whole line first. Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai. Now I'll do them one at a time. Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai.
I don't know.
Okay. 17. I'll read the whole thing. Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Now we'll break it down. Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Good. 18. La'asot et hashabat.
So it's a Shabbat.
I like that you guys are getting confident. You just jumped in. That's very good. And 19 is la'et na'asa.
Let eight
Very good. 20, I'm going to read the whole thing. Shelo asanu ha'arsot. ha'aratzot. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing it. Ha'aratzot. So I'm going to break it down. Shelo
Shalom.
asanu.
Asa.
Sanu.
Okay, and this one is ha'aratzot.
Ara.
So.
Soot.
Good. Ha'aratzot.
Soot.
Exactly. All right. What comes on page 44? Let's see. Okay, we have a new letter to learn on page 44. The letter is a Zion, but it sounds like a Z. So at the top of page 44 are the target words Zikaron and Zecher. They both start with the Zion. Let's see what we can identify and point out with regard to the Zion. So the little sheet I have, this is, if you look at the page I sent you, I don't know if you guys have it handy, but this one. So this letter Zion is the fourth line down from the top, fourth letter from the right. And it has the word zigzag, which is a really good little clue there. You guys see it? Okay, so what's nice about this is that the printed page here where it says zigzag, it goes to the left, then it comes out and goes to the right, and then at the bottom, it has a line, a sharp line at the bottom as well. Unfortunately, I think in the Shalom Aleichem book, or at least in the version that we're looking at, that gets lost. I don't know about you guys, but
There's no zigzag.
there's no zigzag. I don't see a zigzag on ours, right?
No.
The way this print is, it's not really a zigzag.
It's a little. It's indented a
So,
little.
again,
But you can look that the top extends further
It
than,
zigs, but it doesn't zag.
right.
than
Little.
the verb.
It has a little wiggle.
Well,
Mine
so,
does too.
so for me, the comparison perhaps is so the top of the letter is very interesting because to me it's so similar to the Dalet, the D sound, but the top of the Zion is much shorter than the top of the Dalet. The Dalet, so the D sound, let's see if I can quickly find one for you. Oh, sure. Okay, so let's look here. On the top of page 45, the word Kiddush on the very top of the page, the second letter is a Dalet. And the horizontal piece on the Dalet is pretty wide. It's as wide as that space is for the letter. But if you come back and you look at the Zion, the top of the Zion, which is very similarly shaped, but it's squished in. It's like a third of the length of the top of the Dalet.
But the Dalet is flat, is level,
Yes,
and the Zion has a little bit of.
you're right. It starts at the left and comes down to the right, right? So it swoops, right? But it's a much more compact letter, right? From left side to right side, it's just narrower.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the final nun, except that it's not at the end.
It's so much shorter. Exactly. It stays above the line, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's correct. It's,
Where's the
and
final nun?
I mean, someone also pointed out it's very
yeah.
similar. It is very similar to a vav, but let's take a look at the vav for a second. So if you look in line, here, right below, line 1, the third combination over, the zu. So let's look at line 1 together. We have za, and then we have zu, right? So in the zu, we have the vav with the dot in the middle. So you have the Zion on the right and the vav on the left. And they are similar but the Zion has that bulbous part on the right, right? And then the line that comes down kind of moved over. Whereas the Vav
Ooh,
is,
it's straight.
well, the
Perfectly
Vav is
straight.
straight and it's also connected. It's not like you
It
picked your
like
pencil.
curves
and up and-
around, and the Zion like comes from the middle of the top.
Right, right. So so if, let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna try and do a whiteboard. Is it gonna let me? See if it'll let me do, no, this is not it. Here, let's see what's over here. No, that's not it. So where is, I thought it was here, but, oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. The problem I'm gonna run into, can you see this whiteboard?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm a lefty, as I told you a few minutes ago. Let's see if I can do this. I'm a lefty, and so, okay, hold on. Ignore that for a second. I'm just getting, okay. Oh goodness, this is so freaky for me. So if I just do like that, that's basically a Vav, right? But a Zion, when you write it in script, has this loop. You see? So if you think of that concept of how it has a loop. Although maybe I'm doing that wrong, because again, I apologize. I'm wrong. I am wrong. I apologize. That's, as I'm looking at it, I'm going, that does not look like a Zion. That actually looks like a Dalet, which it is, in fact, a Dalet. So let's,
Oh, okay.
that script one that I just did was a Dalet, not a, so that's a Dalet, ignore that. That's a Vav, fine. So here's a Zion. It's actually like that. It looks a little bit like a 5.
I think,
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Mhm.
really bad one. This is really challenging for me.
I think we'll get more confused with the script.
Yeah, I think you're right, only because it's not helping and I'm bad at it. So forget all of that. That was a silly interlude. I do apologize.
Well, it's on that other chart you gave us.
It is,
It's on there.
yeah, it's on
Confusing.
there, right. But I was
Because-
hoping that it would help us. I don't think it will help us.
Yeah.
So, as I say, ignore that ridiculous interlude, and we'll go back to page
It doesn't look
44.
at all.
It was a nice try.
Yeah, poorly executed. Okay, so anyway, this is again, what'll be interesting, and I wonder if maybe I can send you all. Once we get a couple of these prayers down, I might send you the prayers from a different source so we can see what that print looks like. I'm just curious to compare. I haven't done it myself, but I will be honest that some of my pages, it's very frustrating because they're just not clear. And obviously this was a PDF of an old copy of a book that I don't even know if they were using the original or they were scanning from a photocopy, to make it easier to go through the scanner maybe, which is why our version, in my opinion, is not clear. But we have to deal with what we have, so we'll move on. All right, so we looked at line 1, and to me, the only important thing on page 44 with regard to line 1 is noticing the Zion standing next to a Vav. So the third one is Zoo. The fifth one is Zo. The sixth one is also Zo because you have the dot above, but they got rid of the Vav. Yes. The seventh one is Z, which is the same as the eighth one, which is Z without the Yud.
So
Then you have Zay, the 2 dots and the Yud, followed by Zay, which is 2 dots and no Yud. Then the one with the 3 dots is ze. And the last one is just z. So those are just the combination of the consonant and the vowels. So line 2, and this is interesting. So he tells us on the right-hand side that the sound we're practicing here is za. He tells us that right on the first Zion to the left of the number 2. So the word is azai.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, okay, azai. And then he gives us a sentence, azai melech shemo nikra. Okay, so let's work on. What
This
time
is-
is it? Okay.
So the so the yud
Yeah,
at the end makes it say not
I.
but I. Oh,
I. So when you have the ah with a yud following it, it's like EYE, I, okay?
okay.
And I think I wrote that in the class notes
Yes.
from 2 weeks ago. But that becomes I. Okay, so all right, so I'll read the 4 words, the latter 4 words on line 2, and then I'd like you guys to try and read them all in a row, okay? Azai melech shemo nikra.
Azai
Melech
Uh,
Monikra.
Melech
Noah.
Zai
Shemo
Melech Shemo
Ra.
Yes, nikra.
Nikra.
Okay, good. Okay, line 3, what he shows us here is he's having us work on the zoo sound, okay? And this is the word you're gonna recognize, mezuzah, mezuzah.
Susan.
Mhm.
Line 3, the first real word is mezuzah, okay? And I'm gonna read the 4 words on the left part. Uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha. So this is from part of the Shema, and you probably recognize the words together. I'm going to break it down. You guys repeat one word at a time. Uchtavtam al
Al
mezuzot
Mezuzot.
beitecha.
Beitecha.
Good. Okay. This za is the sound we're working on here. Zarua.
Zarua.
Zarua, exactly. So the 3 words, excuse me, line 4, I'll read them. Or Zarua la tzadik. So I'll break it down for you. Or
Or
Zarua
Zarua
la tzadik.
La
Good. Okay. Line 5, Zachor.
Or
And let me read the phrase and then we'll break it down. Zachor vishamor b'dibor echad. So these are all phrases for me, well, they're from, to me, it's Shabbat morning service, but obviously these are also from the Friday night service. Growing up, we didn't go to Friday night services, but we went to Shabbat morning services without fail, unless you had a fever, you were at Shabbat services. So anyway, all right, I'll break it down. We'll go one at a time. Zachor, vishamor,
Vishamor
bidibor,
Bidibor
echad. Good. Okay. Line 6, the word is zikaron. Means to remember. The phrase zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. So let's break it down. Zikaron
Zikaron
lema'aseh
lema'aseh
v'reshit.
v'reshit.
Bereshit.
Good. Okay, line 7. Zecher is the word.
Zecher
Zecher.
Okay, I'll read the phrase. Zecher litziat mitzrayim. Okay, Zecher
Zecher
litziat mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim.
Good. Okay,
Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim. Okay, line 8. Mizmor.
Mizmor.
Okay, and this should sound familiar. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat. We sing a song for Shabbat. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat. Okay, I'll break it down. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat. Okay. 9. Zmirot. Okay, Zmirot.
What is it? What's
Zami, bro.
Zmirot.
Zami wrote.
Exactly.
so the Zion is silent? I don't.
The Zion, the first letter, the Zion is Z. Just Z.
Oh, Zemirot.
Right. Okay. So there's 2 dots under there, that thing, that, so it's not just Z, it's Z. Okay. Okay. So the 3 words to the left, Bizmirot, Naria Lo. Bizmirot,
Beats me wrote.
good. Naria
Naria.
Lo.
Low.
Okay. Line 10, Zman. Okay.
Shema.
Okay. Okay.
Zman.
Let me hold
Is that
somebody-
Zman?
Okay, Zman. Okay. Then the 3 words to the left are Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv. Okay. So I'll read it one at a time. Ba'agala. Good. Uvizman Kariv. Excellent. Okay. Line 11. Erez. So the phrase is Ke'erez Balvanon. I'm sorry, Balvanon Isageh. I don't know this phrase. Let me think. Ke'erez Balvanon Isageh. I apologize, but I'm not familiar with this phrase. But we'll do it together. Ke'erez Balvanon Isageh. I think it's Isageh. Yeah, it is Isageh. Right.
Isageh.
Okay. Line 12 is just O's. O's. Okay. And this phrase you'll, I hope, recognize. Adonai O's le'amo yiten. Adonai O's le'amo yiten. Cain. Right. So that's part of the Torah service. Okay. So line 13 So this, Ya'alos Sadai V'chal Asher Bo. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, we're good. So Ya'alos
Yeah.
Ya'alos.
Sadai.
Sadai.
See, that's a S, a sin here, not a, not the SH, right? Sadai,
Sadai.
okay. V'chal
Bahal.
Asher
Asher.
Bo.
Oh,
Bo.
Oh.
Okay, good. Then 14, Az Yirananu Kal Atse Ayar. I'm sorry, Ya'ar. I mispronounced that. So let me do it again. Az Yirananu Kal Atse Ya'ar. So this one's a little bit of a tongue twister. Okay. Az Yirananu.
Yarananu.
Perfect. Kal Atse
I'd say.
Ya'ar.
Yeah.
R.
Good. Ya'ar. Good. Okay. Line 15, he's highlighting the target word from the top of the page, zikaron. Yes, he has that word twice. That's on the right-hand side. Zikaron.
Zikaron.
Good. So then the three words to the left are from the prayer, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. Okay. Yes. So the middle word is lema'aseh. The A sound is a long A at the end of that word. V'reshit, right? So just like the right, you have a long A in Bereshit, and you have a long A ending lema'aseh. Okay? Okay, and then line 16, the other target word from the top of the page, zecher. Okay, zecher. Okay, so I'll read this three words. Zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Zecher litziat Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim.
Very good.
What's the one in the middle, please?
Litziat. Okay. And then line 17, these are just words. This is not a phrase of any kind, line 17. I'll just read them to you. Mezuzah, zan, and machzor. So these three words, a mezuzah, right? We know the word mezuzah. Then chazan is your cantor. And the last one, machzor, is the prayer book for the high holidays, yes? That's those three words. All right. So we are now to the point where we should be able to read the Kiddush on the top of page 45 in the box. So were you guys practicing from what I sent you, the YouTube? Yes?
Yes.
I know you didn't technically know all the letters, but I liked that it was there for you.
Yeah.
So
It helped a lot.
good. All right. How about if you guys read for me just the first line together, which is the prayer for the wine. You all should know that very easily together. So let's start together. Baruch
Eloheinu melech haolam boreh
Agafen.
That was perfect.
Fin.
Excellent. Everyone comfortable with that? Good. All right. So now we'll get to the more tricky part. How about we read together, but just to the end of each line? Don't go to the next line. We'll stop at the end of each line on the left side. Okay. Baruch.
Baruch
Adonai. Eloheinu.
Melech
Melech.
Haolam
Haolam
Asher.
Shanu.
Good. Kiddushanu. Everyone's good with that? Good. Okay. The next line. This is the sight word we had to work on a couple weeks ago. B'mitzvotav. V'ratzah. Banu. Good. V'shabbat.
Shabbat
Kadsho.
Ba'ahava
Uveratzon. Good. Okay. The next line, this is the fourth line. Hin hi lanu. Zikaron. Lema'aseh. Bereshit. Yom. Tehillah. Good. Okay. Now we're on the fifth line. Lamikra A. Kodesh. Zecher. Litziat. Mitzrayim. Kivanu. Baharta. Okay. Next line. Ve'otanu. Hidashta. Mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat. Hadshah. Ba'ahava. Uveratzon. In haltanu. Baruch atah Adonai. Mekadesh. Hashabbat. Good. Now, just show me by your hands, how many of you are maybe more comfortable singing this than reading this? Couple
Probably.
of you? Yeah.
Parts of it.
But what I find that in singing, there are errors. I'm finding errors from what I'm used to singing to what I'm now reading.
So
I
Linda
haven't been
said
saying the
that.
same thing.
Yes, Linda told me that same thing when she was the first one on the call an hour ago. And that's not uncommon. And it has to do with a couple of things. For one, whoever you heard singing it all those years may have been pronouncing it with more of a European accent, more old style accent, just been singing it with their flair that's not exact pronunciation. You know, it could be lots of things. But, you know, I think you can appreciate, however, that it's not real far off from what the printed word is that you're now learning to read.
Oh, I'm pleased to get it right. I don't. I start up to go with singing errors.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so I I think we should end here. We certainly don't want to go on and learn a new letter. It's too much. Are there things I can perhaps send you? I could find a YouTube or something for anything that you guys are confused about, or I could explain better in the homework?
I think you're doing a great job.
I couldn't agree more. Great
Me
job.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I'll look at it again, but I think for the most part, the same YouTubes, particularly for the Kiddush on page 45, keep doing, she sings it. Is the one I sent you singing it, not reading it? She's singing it.
She's singing it.
She's singing.
Okay. But is she singing slow enough for you guys to feel you can practice? You can stop it at any point, right? And just read it yourself.
Right.
Which might be kind of, perhaps do what we just did, which is get to the end of a certain phrase or a line and just stop her and read it yourself, okay? So stop her at certain points so that you practice reading the words that you've just heard. And don't let her just keep going. Yes, Paula.
Well, I was going to tell you that I was so proud to read this myself this week. I just felt really good that I could do it for me by reading the correct words. That was a really big thing.
Well, so you know what? How about if right now, so you'll have this recording, I'm just going to read what's in this box. Don't repeat. In fact, maybe I'll mute all of you. So that way at the end of this Zoom recording, you'll have this read by me. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm going to mute everyone if I can find the button. Let's see. Golly. I thought I had a mute all button.
We
Hold
can
on.
each mute ourselves.
You
Well,
could each mute yourself.
You want us to mute?
Here, I got it. It's right here. Okay, I'm going to mute all of you guys. Now you should be able to hear me, yes? Okay, all right, so I'm going to read the box, the Kiddush box on page 45. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidashanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza vanu v'shabbat kadsho ba'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lama'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kadshecha ba'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. I can't unmute you all. You guys have to do that yourselves. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we know you'll have that. Hopefully the Zoom will get posted Sunday. I will check and I will send it all to you. Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, just keep practicing. You guys are doing great. You really are. It's confusing stuff. You've just been thrown however many letters we've got, plus the vowels, plus the idiosyncrasies of the word mitzvotav, just weird stuff. So the best thing you can do is practice every single day. And you'll get more comfortable. You just will. I promise. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome.
See you next
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom. See you next week.